Hello, and welcome. This is Joanne the Jewel Design, and happy Wednesday or Thursday, depending when you watch me. Hopefully this has been a wonderful Wednesday for you guys, so a great afternoon or evening. You're here to do a little, afternoon crafting, or at least get some ideas as you go into your Thursday. Another day, another week. Another day, another dollar, but that works. It's another day, another week. So today we are working on covers. We have two different sizes, two different styles of covers, both using, though, our Amazon packaging that we get. We're getting a lot of brown craft paper, somewhat bubbly packaging lately. And I figured there's two different ways to use it, and we are going to do two different journal covers today. We are going to work on a mini journal here. This is about a 60-page mini journal. A little bit of digital in it. Pretty naked when I'm done with it, but it's the last of the pages and the whatnot from this Starcatcher kit from Ink and Page Journals. We've done lots of stuff with it from what I printed. This is, I didn't print over and over and over. I print everything once or twice for what I needed for our larger projects, and for that folio, faux book, for a actual TN journal, I believe, which is the Dreamer's journal, and then we're going to do this tiny little naked journal. So it's going to use papers to cover up our bag, right? We're going to use paper and glue for this one because this is smaller, so we're actually going to cut down our Amazon bag. The other one, on the other hand, is going to be using fabric, and it is a fall version. This is leftover papers and extras from a mushroom kit. I cannot think of who right now. I will look it up. I downloaded a digital mushrooms, and we did a mushroom atom secretarial folio with TN in it end of last year, or fall of last year. And so here pages are left over. I've done my porch prints, just tweaked some really pretty little things, added them in here, and I think we still need to add some brown paper, I just realized, before we do it in, because it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So it's only 36, well, yeah, 36 pages. It has a little bit of tweaking and fun. No, this is just, yeah. So it's only a 36-page, pretty minimum. I don't know if this is going to be for me or for someone else. So I may add just a few pages of coffee dye before we sew it in. But a nice, simple 9x6 journal, some fun pages, different sizes, things like that. But I have this lovely fabric I bought. I think I used it somewhere because I only have a small amount of it. So I used it for something we created last year. But I had leftovers for sure. And so we're going to do more of a slip cover onto a full-size Amazon bag. And we're going to sew that in and get us our little cover for this. So you can hear all that yumminess, right? So that one's sort of pinned and ready to go. So we'll see that. So I will be doing a smidge of sewing on camera, and we'll get to that. So what we're using is these smaller recyclable bags we get for your smaller things when they want to send you stuff, and for whatever reason they're not sending you the white plastic. They're sending you these, which is great because they're recyclable like bags, but they're brown, they're yummy, and they sound great. So this one we will cut down to work this. So we only need so big, right? So we're going to double it. We're going to cover it with paper, glue it, all that jazz, and sew it in. This one definitely has everything we need. I'm just going to add pockets to it later, and strips or whatever I have left over. So that one we'll do secondary. This is more of a paper version. This would be more, no sewing, gluing things down, making it more of a book cover. But I wanted to get that one done, so I thought we'd do covers today. Can't help myself. So this one, as you can see, I've already got it sort of in place. This one I'm taking a fabric piece. We are using the full-size bag, right? I don't even know how big these are. Most of the time, they are almost 12 inches, and I've cleaned the top off, so they're about 9.5, which perfect, right? We're trying to do a 9x6 journal technically, and with these being under, these are definitely 8, and they are this one about a little over 5.5. When we're all said and done, there's actually plenty of room on this one. It's a nice cover. There's no chance of the pages getting destroyed. We're going to put fabric, which means there's even a little extra fabric going over the edge. So we're going to completely cover this up. So I can add lace and things to this and know that they may not stick out of the journal, but they're going to be protected. So I can wrap it with sari silk or whatever else and not worry about like squishing something. So we're going to do a good 1/2 inch hem on this to about the end of here. Right, so I got it where I need to go. When we will cut off the edge with our shear scissors, we will then insert this and then right side out. Then we will sew the edges and shear and do the shears on the ends so that we have a nice clean fold top and bottom, but we have sort of frill on the edges of our book for some personality. But sort of a simple way to do this is just to sort of just sew two sides together, right side out. Sew your hem, turn it inside out, slip in your cover, and then seal it however you like. Sometimes you can take this, put it in the middle of all of this, sew it all the way around, and that would let, you know, but you can't really turn it. Once you do that, it's really hard to turn it if you sew it down that way. So there are ways to do it. You could turn it right side in. You could sew it around, cut it. I mean, it's all, however you feel comfortable with sewing. That makes the most sense to you. So, you know, that is sort of a ballpark. I like to just sort of sew it and try to give myself sort of a slip cover. Easy, stick it in, and, you know, I have some open edges where I'm not trying to perfectly do everything. So, the simpler the better sometimes for me, personally. So, yes, we're bringing this out. Working it. What are we in? Yeah, you get to see a little bit. So, I hope you're all doing really well. Oh, I pulled out my string when I had it on the floor. At least I made sure. Yeah, so I'm doing this super early in the morning. The cats woke me up. We have a neighborhood cat that's being quite the pest. For some reason, he feels the need to harass my oldest. I'm not sure why everybody's harassing my oldest. Makes you wonder, right? It used to be like, what was the ordeal? It used to be that, you know, the weakest of the sorry, I'm looking for the weakest link in the pride, you know, get left behind, if not, you know, I want to say eaten, but, would definitely have some issues. Okay, I'm looking to see what my 1/2 inch mark is so that I've got it pretty good at 3/8. It's in a good spot. So anyway, I'm like in the project, if you were a weak link, you were left behind, maybe you were the one that got, you know, challenged, but I don't know why they're going after my poor boy. He is 9. He is grumpy. He doesn't want to play. It's a bummer. So, all right, I'm going to sew. No matter, even though my fabric isn't perfectly straight, I am going to line it up with the back piece of my fabric because it is the straightest, I guess. And so we'll trim off extra. And now I'm looking at this right now and realizing my little 1/2 inch mark is not as much as I think it is. And is leaving quite a bit still left over to roam around. I really don't want this roaming around too much. So I'm wondering if I need to move it in some more. Sort of eyeballing this, which is annoying, but that edge, turn it. It gives me, I just don't want to give too much wiggle room. I really want this pretty tight once I, why am I 20s? Once I turn it, I want to be able to slip this in and just enough to get it in, but top and bottom not have it wiggle around. Yes, I'm going to sew each side, but I don't want too much fabric sort of loose, top and bottom to where it seems sort of flimsy. I want to be a pretty firm cover it slips in. I'd rather cut down the bag than have to figure out how to reduce something. So I'm touched. So might want to pop forward, totally up to you. I can't talk while I do this, but it should take me just about 2 minutes or less because this thing flies. All right. Actually not too loud. All in all, it's not too loud. I just don't know on the camera if how much you guys hear and how much you don't, right? Let's pull that one out. That's such a sucker. All right. So I'm not going to the edge of my fabric because I know I don't need all of that. And I definitely want to have a nice flap left over. Because maybe we'll do especially if I add some coffee dye papers to this, I want to be able to have room to do like a fabric flip. Something like that. on the end, you know, inside the journal to sort of bring the fabric inward. Nice thing about this too, front and back matching fabric all the way around, is that we can, you know, put lace and other things inside to make nice pockets on the cover, inside the cover. Now, let's get this stuff loosed up. Now, the only thing I was thinking, so far so good, we're going to do a test run here. Let me put this down below and hope that I don't have to pull it. Well, I do have to pull it back out. We have to do the other side. We have to do a zigzag now. There we go. Yeah, I want to zigzag down the sides for some character, right? Give it a little flair, a little bit of a something going on. I don't want to just... Ooh, I forgot I have my favorite one. Hold on. I do have one of my favorites, but I believe I have to change my... just a little. I have a fun crisscross like hashtag, but diamonds that actually I really like. So I think we'll do that actually next. But let me... What am I looking for? Too many things, right? But I don't want to take up all the space while I'm trying to do this. We'll go back and forth. Oh, God. No, 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 no. Ugh. See, that's why you don't do that. I just put it down on the, I'm going to clean that mess up. Accidentally put the thing down the foot. So I started taking off. I'm like, that's why you pull the side out so it doesn't do that. Okay, so let's see real quick before turning it out, inside out, how well this fits. It actually looks pretty snug as a bug. These are so done now. I want to see. Now I know once we turn it, it's going to be a little tighter, and that's good. Now it's going to be beautiful. Oh, I made a good call at going down farther. So when we turn it, it's going to be nice and snug, which is what we want. Okay, but what I will do is cut off some of the extra because we don't want... I don't really want anything on the top going on. I don't need any extra floof, any extra fluff. I know I won't quite cut. There we go. And see, now I have these cute strips that I could actually glue down on the edges of some pages. So instead of using we could instead of using sticker strips, or we could do some fabric strips to cut down the side of a couple of the pages. Ooh, won't that be fun? Especially if I use the coffee dyed. So we'll have some fun with some of this, which is great. Fabric is no different than paper. It's always great, easy to use. Now this is a mess. I just realized I had not ironed it whatsoever. Huh. Bad me. I know better. Okay, so that's getting cut off, so I'm not too worried about that per se. This is our top and bottom, and I need to iron. Oh, it would be much easier if it was ironed down. It would sit straight. It would sit flat. I always forget about that. If I do that, I'm 10 to 1 going to end up turning it off, my camera off, and I don't want to do that. Well, since we have to do a little TLC to this signature, we probably will not sew it in today. So I want to add some paper to this. So I might be able to very carefully, once this is in and we have it sewn, I'll be able to iron it really firmly to get this crease out maybe and be able to do this. Now, I think it doesn't really matter. It's upside down, so let's just make sure that when we sew it in, that we turn it right side up. And the nice thing is inside will be upside down, front will be upright. And that's what it is. I didn't realize that, yeah, the mushrooms are definitely in one direction. So, yeah, inside is going to be upside down. We'll put a pocket in here. We'll put some large pieces in here. Oh, well, it will be what it is, right? C'est la vie. We'll do what we can. It is what it is. Now, once turned, let's hope, fingers crossed, we are still just as good. I am sliding it. Actually, yeah, so you do want to slide it between the two. Like we do as any other gusset, you sort of do the same thing along your sewn edge. Now grab it from the other side and pull it through. To make it easier, you could actually bend it a little bit like a taco and then pop it back into place, and it's pretty firm. There we go. Well, I did do it though, guys. I don't have a whole lot of extra, but we do have to keep in mind that is a problem. I want really sort of hoping that this seam might be on the bottom. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but let's bring it up. I'm trying to line it up to where my top edge is with that. So actually, front or back, right? One's forward, one's top. So if I want this seam maybe a little bit more hidden on the bottom instead of the top. Yeah, this is where, what's it called? Ironing it would help because I could get a nice clean hem down here. Did pretty good on the sewing straight wise, which yeah, I don't sew straight any more than I cut straight. Let's see. I'm trying to see how beautifully we can do this. And there's always something, right, ladies and gentlemen? So what I want to do is go about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch from the edge. So I'm going here. So I'm trying to do this so that when we sew here, I have this to shear off, cut off with my shears, so that we can do the stuff along the edge with enough room to spare, right? So that seems to be the spot there. So I probably should pin it. I'm a little bummed that I did not think to what's the word? Let's do it this way. We're gonna try to pin it. It's pretty, it's thick within the Amazon, but I just want to do it just one pin at least so that I don't move it too much as we're going along. Well, that one's already sort of bent, so maybe we'll just use a bent one, right? So all I want to do is front and back, zigzag, zigzag right on the paper so that it stays put. I mean on the bag so it stays put. And then I don't have to. Now, I'm going to want to go as straight as it'd be nice to go straight on the other side and not worry about it, but I have to go use my rotary cutter for that. So, I think that's about where I want to go. Cut there, cut there. All right, so I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to go rotary cut this off real clean. Haha. Because if I try to do it by hand right now, it'll be sideways and I'll be bummed. That way we have this over here left over. And while I'm at it, I'm going to try to quickly turn on the iron and see if we can lightly ouch, there we go, iron this out so we have a really nice smooth surface to sew on, and then we know we have our fold and we have our nice little cover. So one moment, ladies and gentlemen, fingers crossed this doesn't unpause and I have to start all over again. Oh, wouldn't that be a bummer? We're back. I did it. Oh, thank you. Okay, so we did a little bit of ironing, mostly just so that the bottom was on a straighter edge, that I felt that this was flatter and a little more, doable. Can't quite get the full lines out. I gotta love cotton because it's been folded for so long. But at least it's flatter, it's smooth. I know it's sort of, starting to adhere to the bag. And you know what? We're going to decorate it, so it's okay. I'm not going to stress over it that much. Really not. I don't have perfection. We're not dealing with high-end fabrics and, beautiful vintage whatever that we feel we need to have it perfect. I'm sorry. It is a perfectly imperfect world with our journals, right? So, to know where we need to do, I'm sort of eyeballing my placement. Again, it looks like I'm going to zigzag in the exact same sentiment, or I should say measurement, as I did right there, one short. Okay. I'm eyeballing where I need to put it on my feed so I can stay straight. And I made sure to clean up clean it all up after that silly little mishap. Okay, so here we're going to go again. We're going to zigzag a beautiful digital or diamond hashtag. As it isn't going along, it might be, oh no, it's perfect. Oh, I'm loving it. This is going to be a gorgeous, oops, okay, hold on. I was about to run out of space and I don't want to. There we go. Hate stopping. I was in a perfect rhythm, but faster you go, it changes the, dynamics, right? All right. So as you can see, or maybe, I don't know if I'll do this on the other end or not. Let's see. Let's cut that. I hate when I do that. Oh. So I did not back anything. I didn't go forward and back on the edges. I can always do a little glue if I need to fix that. Now I just realized I goofed and way pulled out the thread before cutting it. Really? There are days, right? I seem to be very off lately. dropping eggs yesterday. Never fun. 2 I cracked and was like, okay, cool, I'm making eggs, so I can use those. But 1 actually hit the floor. I was like, man, where's the dog when you need it? Cats, no, not so much. But that was sort of a bummer. Sorry, this was a disaster. Didn't want to have that much extra thread. I don't like wasting thread. I'm sort of anal retentive on that end. And so I try not to have too much extra thread on the foot. You know, the foot. I will tighten this up on top, you know. Just don't like too much extra thread everywhere. It's not my thing, because I think some of my colors are sort of limited, and I don't want to waste it when I only have so much, right? So let's make sure that's, make sure that's loose. Okay. So, what you see here, hopefully, let's see. You can see it. Yes, there we go. So that gorgeous sort of diamond hashtag across here, and which is right on the, where's the bag? Yep, the bag's right there. Oh, I did beautiful. So now I can use the shears across here to give us sort of a, you know, hold not frayed edge, because we don't want this to keep going. We don't want it to keep falling apart. And sometimes doing that triangle shear thing, using the shears help, you know, keep things from constantly doing. All right, so now, other side just as beautiful. We're going to start at the end. And now hopefully, now this one I think I have a little bit more, yeah, I do have a little bit more fabric on this side than I had on the other side. So I will have to make sure I make that adjustment. I think I'm, yeah, pushing it just a little. Okay. All right, here we go again. Whether you want to zigzag forward here 30 seconds. Voila. Ta-da. All right. Sorry about the move of the machine so fast. I realized that I only have so much room, and I wanted to make sure, like you said, I don't go sideways all of a sudden while I'm working on this. I'll move the machine here in a second, because the rest of this will be done, well, via either sewing options or, like, you know, hand sew things in and whatnot. Oof. But I will definitely keep the color in place, because we're probably going to need it for our fabric flip and other things. It would be cute to actually sew in that little fabric edge we were talking about. The fabric trim, like to do on the side. It'd be sort of cute actually to sew, sew that in on the page. And I might just do that. Get a little, we may have a little sewing options in here with the fabric flip and whatnot. But, you know, we'll see. So I did find some more pages while we were waiting. I found this lovely embossed page that was done. All right. It's dark, it's little, oh, it's dirty. This would be great to put the fabric flip on, right? To have that beautiful, I like that side better, fabric flip. So this is going to be one of our pages that we're going to work with. Then I have some of our darker, you know, coffee dyed, tea dyed, eco dyed pages. So it'll give us a total of 56 pages when I'm done. So the fabric flip, I thought with the dark one, which luckily it's light on the other side, but I thought the dark one would be the fun one to actually have, you know, our strips down the side. And now it's up to me whether I want to glue it and then do like the same zigzag on that edge. Kind of, we'll definitely glue it down a little bit, and then we just got to decide if we want to maybe detail it with some kind of sew job. Though I will have to make sure I think about it before we sew these in. So we will not be sewing this in today, but because I do need to, you know, these pages are always bigger than this, so I have to decide if I want to cut a little bit off one edge or not, or I leave it every other as our excess. You know, I mean, we already have pages that stick out, but there's, you know, they are rounded, they are flat, we have all different sizes. So I think having our, these guys a little wider may not be such a big deal, but we will fold them and I'll put them in and see, like, okay, well, I really can't see all this fun stuff, so do I want to shorten them up top and bottom and sides or not? So again, a little bit of TLC. It's, you know, it's how it works when you are working through it. You're like, oh, I need to do this, that, and the other thing. Wait a minute. But the fabric flip will be great. We'll do I'll find some other fabrics colors that I have. I have golds and stuff like that, and we will do a fun fabric flip, and we have these as edges. So now, last thing I will do with you guys though, will be the sheer, I think sheer is the right word. But I'm gonna get pretty close, try to get down, whoops, it's right there, huh? Okay, maybe not. We're gonna go along the edge of the fabric itself. Let's see if I can, how straight I can go, because there really isn't. I never realized how hard it would be to cut straight out with these. I really should have known. But see, I can already tell I went, you know, those are fun. I did not go straight at all. Yeah, I don't know about this. I really want that up against the edge, but I think it's like, it's right there. And you would think that would help, but it's not. Fabric's sort of flimsy, so you're trying to go up an edge. I mean, it's not a super big deal if it's not perfect. It is something I'm trying to have some fun with. Oh, you know me though. Oh, whoops. Those are fun pieces to work with. We're definitely going to be able to put some fabric on edges of pages and journal cards and things that I think we can have fun with. I won't keep every little piece. I think that gets crazy. Let's not do that. But that is the general idea. And I know if I keep trimming at it, it's only going to get worse. But let's see if we can, there we go. Little things. Let's see if we can try and, haha. There we go. Even out a little bit. All right. So that's the idea, though, is that I want this edge so that, you know, one, maybe keeps it from fraying, gives it a little bit of personality. So when we fold it, we have this fun edge. And I can see that we're going to be really careful and not fold it within the grain of the, we're not going to fold it to match the, like, there's a natural fold here already, but we're going to mess with that considerably and make sure that it folds evenly. I do not want an uneven cover. It's one thing to know your page is all fun and wonky, but not your cover. The fun part will be deciding what to put on this cover. Oh my goodness. I do have a large freestanding embroidered, what's the word? I'll keep those. Embroidered leaf that's brown that might be nice on here. But I'm going to have to figure out. I do have a lot of stuff left over. I hope from this kit to maybe do some paper stuff too. So, what we're going to do. Okay. So I'm going to purposely do this, and we're going to try, even with our bone folder, if I hold it tight, try and, you know, sort of push and squeeze and crisp, and that's straight. Okay. And even more so would be, you know, do this to see if we can keep it in place until it's sewn in. But that would be the ordeal. And, you know, there's plenty of space to put this in here. As you can see, even where it's folded, where we have all this space. So I can have the extra coffee dye, I can have lace, I can have whatever I want sticking out. It is actually way bigger than the thing. Oh my goodness. Top and bottom too. So what we might do with this one then is that with the coffee dye, because they are a little bigger, I might vary the pages up and down, top and bottom, to cover the whole width height of this. So we're not going to do a straight, I think every so many pages, we're going to go up and down and vary them, stagger them. So the pages sort of stagger up and down, back and forth, so that we have very much a sort of messy journal. If it's going to stick out this way, it was already going to stick out on the top. Let's force the issue, because this is actually bigger than I expected it. Way bigger than I expected. 9.5 inches. So yeah, it's a good half inch taller than we normally work with. It lays half inch plus. So yeah, let's stagger the pages top and bottom, in and out. Maybe I'll find one more, you know, something else small like this, to go up in here to where we have some definite variance in this one. Where, you know, yes, you have writing pages and fun bits and pieces, and we can really enjoy this by giving us a slightly taller than usual standard journal. But let's vary the pages top to bottom, back and forth, so that everything is, you know, you can see more of the pages. Like, so that one may go higher, you know, this is gonna go lower, kind of deal. We're going to get this kind of effect, top and bottom with all the different pages. And I think that'll be a really nice, I don't know, for fall. It's just, you know, I think a nice vintage fall feel. So yeah, and I'll find one more thing that I can put in here that is narrow like this, shorter, to help with this as much as we're doing this. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, there's that. Okay, so the cover is done. The signatures have been planned out. We have scraps of fabric to help with this kit and caboodle, right? And we will get that going. So I guess there will be a video once I get the signature taken care of on any fun ways to decor the inside, right? So I'm keeping this down to help just sort of reinforce the thing. I could probably even, if I really wanted to, I can even do the iron. I'll go across that a little bit, and that should help keep it in place also. So, all right, that one is done, and I'm hoping I am not out of time already with one thing, right? Isn't that crazy? One down, one to go. One down and 30 minutes in, so no, not too shabby. Okay, woohoo. All right, now with this one, I have been known at times to use, you know, keeping a pocket open, where you sew it in a way where, like we did with the sides and left the fabric open, you leave your fabric open here, but you have to glue it down because you can't really, I tried to see if I could sew, like, inside the pocket, but this doesn't really round. Like, when you're doing fabric, you can wrap it around the foot of your thing, and you can sew the inside hem. Paper, a little harder to do that with. I think one time I was able to get, like, halfway on both sides to sort of keep it in place, but I wanted to leave it open so you had huge pockets on the top of your cover. It's fun every once in a while. I wouldn't do it too often. Next, if you really wanted to, you could cut the side though, sew the top, sew the ends, leave this end open, just simply glue down the fabric, and you could have a pocket, the back or front cover, right? You could do it that way. But we're going to cut this down completely, glue whatever we need to keep it shut. We're just looking for the noise and the thickness just enough for such a small journal that this is going to be a nice, soft hardcover, and this is, you know, soft, firm cover for our journal. Now, she is only a lovely, what are we? We are only, this is for, let's see, we are 3 7/8 by 6.5. Cute. All right, so 7-inch journal would give us some room top and bottom. Yeah, I could go a little smaller. I mean, because it's just over 6.5. I mean, I can go 6 3/4 and it would just float in between. So let's go 6 3/4 on this when we're done, and a full 4. And again, it would just float. Now, okay, so 4 top and bottom is fine. 6 3/4, I need to actually make that, what? My gosh, I can't believe I have to do math this early in the morning. 0.75 times 2. 1.5 inches, right? Thank you. There we go. Plus, you know, 6 and 6 is 12. That seems really weird. Oh, that's height. Oh gosh, you see, I would have done that wrong. So I need to go, if it's going to be 4, I need 8 inches one way. Oh, geez, thank God. Okay, I almost did that wrong. So it needs to be 6 3/4 tall, and it needs to be 8 inches long. Whew. Good Lord, I almost goofed that up. So yeah, if it's 4 wide, you need to double it. 4 gives us, you know, so we need 8 this way, and we should have just, you know, a little extra sticking out. And then it's only, like I said, 6 and... It is just shy of 6.5, so I figured 6 3/4 would have let us shift. Okay. Oh, I almost did that wrong. That's why we measure and measure and measure some more. measure some more. Okay, then. So, now I know we're going to cut it to where this is going to be, fluffy on one end. So I'm really tempted to actually just cut this glued edge down right off the bat. Because, this is the fun part, I'm not straight, is that I don't really want one end to be flat and the other end to be poofy. This is going to be fluffy and this is going to be sort of flat because it was, you know, it's pressured, it's sealed, where you can't really feel the fluff. And that's not straight. So I'm going to go take this over to the measuring machine real quick, trim a little more off, go 8 inches in, go, 6 3/4 tall. That way everything's fluffy. Let's see. I just don't want any, that really thin edges. I want to make sure all the way around it's pretty. Even that bottom has an issue, doesn't it? And that's sort of flat. Oh yeah, let me trim off and make my 8 by 8 and 6 3/4. And then we can, glue down the edges and then cover it with the paper, and that'll be really easy to do. So, yay. Okay, we're getting there. Yeah, it's what it is. Okay, one more second, guys. Okay. Whew. So, I did cut it, which means we end up with 2 pieces. Which, I could just do one. I could keep it simple. I really want it floofy to give it what we need. But because it came apart, I can now put the black stuff on the inside and not have to worry about seeing any of that through the paper. Any issues I have, I just don't have to deal with it. So, let's do, since we're going to cover this, I will use glitter glue or, what's the word? Glitter glue or fabric tack. I haven't decided which yet, for the paper itself. Is that I could keep this thinner and just do 1/2. Some do. I know when we use the pink, or we use the white stuff, usually the white bubble wrap, I watched Gail, and I think I've done it too, where we actually open up the bag and only use, one side. But I'm hoping, let's see if I did this correctly, right? I really want, I'm so worried that the 1/2 inch is wrong. Oh gosh, I'm worried, right? Because once you fold it, you do lose a little bit. And so that's why it's 8 inches. So fingers crossed. It's going to be really tight, probably. I can fold it a little bit just to make sure before we do all this work, right? So yeah, you could just do 1/2 and, make it pretty thin. But I thought, really being a naked journal, want a little bit more thickness, a little bit more feel of a quilted, poofy thing. And not be like, oh, that's it. That's all we've got. So let's find our middle section. All right. Let's try to line this up as straight as we can. Oh, which is always easier said than done. Let's see. We go there. And we do that upside down where I really should do it on the edge. I can see, right? That is straight on the bottom. Oh, so carefully. And that does do what I just didn't want it to do. Okay, I was sort of hoping I could just do this, but we'll do it this way. And that is farther over than I expected. Okay, never mind. Thought I could sort of score it and do it that way. It is really thick. And I'm only doing this, even though we're going to totally have to refold it, I wanted to work with it in a way that... Where did my bone folder go? It is definitely thicker when you do the whole bag. Now, I've done the whole bag before. We just did it. We did the whole bag with the fabric, but it's bigger, and so there's a little bit more give. When it's smaller, we start getting into tighter realms, apparently. I'm doing this, and then I may regret that, because then I have to reopen it. But I wanted to make sure it fit. I wanted to make sure it folded. I did not want to do all this and then find out, like, okay. So it is tight. Now, when I did these, I put them all in here. I cut it down to match this. And then I went in and, tried to do a nice clean cut all the way across when I did these. And, of course, it is still sticking out. It is such annoying. Trying to cut so many little pieces of paper and get a clean cut. It's almost impossible. Yeah, almost impossible. Started messing up because, it's 60 pages technically. So it's, 15 pieces of paper. And it did not cleanly cut. So I did rough it up a little bit. It's not like I have a perfect smooth. I did go back and rough it up, but I'm just trying to get enough where it's not so up and down. It's not so messy. And it's like, it's like trimming hedges. You could be here for a month of Sundays and end up with no hedge when you're done. You just keep trimming, keep trimming, keep trimming. Slight worry there. But I did. There's some ins and outs. I don't mind if it goes in. But then I did, I'm just sort of with some of the papers where it'll allow me to. I am using, the edges of the scissors here to rough it up a little bit, you know, not leaving it perfect. But it is where none of the pages, like the other journal, are sticking out. I don't have that in and up and down, in and out. I tried to see if I could do a pretty clean ha-ha job, but it's going to have some personality. It's okay. All right, so good as we can get. But it definitely, now once we cover it with paper, it might make it a little wider, but it is going to be a very, get it in here really tight when we sew it in, and it's going to be right along the edge, and I might even, I don't know if I can do it one more time. I might flatten it out and see if I can trim off one more time. Yeah, right. Flatten it one more time and see if I can get them a little cleaner, to be able, you know, to really have it sit inside the journal. So we'll see. All right, but it does fit. Okay, so now redo it. I know, all that work. And I went ahead and cut this to fit. So we do it this way. I want to be able to cut the corners cleanly and give us a book-like feel. I want to make sure this is about as even, as middle as we can get it. It's always the other fun part. I think we're going to use fabric tack on this side. I think this is going to give me the play I need in the room. I know I actually was a good girl, and at least I thought, oh, jeez, even that. I went and added more glue to my bottle so that, you know, it would go quicker. I am bummed about that we have to, you know, it makes it hard when your bottle is getting low and you want to finish off the glue you have. You hate to keep adding glue, and adding glue, but do what you have to do, I guess. So like I said, I'm not perfectly doing the two pieces together. Just did some paper stuff. Now, I know it's up and for grabs. Now, it's great when you're putting paper on the outside. It folds with what you're doing. When you fold it the other way, that when we put the inside, that, you know, we have issues. Now, I want to make sure this is about as even as I can get it all the way around. I'm trying to see, because that way when I cut the corners, I am dealing with pretty, just about, I didn't do too bad. I mean, it's crooked, I can tell you that right now, but it's not bad. It's pretty much, I have a half, what I have, 5/8 of an inch all the way around. Pretty darn close. And I did finally figure out the trick. When you are doing this kind of thing with fabric, paper, whatever, and you want clean, somewhat clean corners, you gotta make sure your all the way around is the same. You have pretty much the exact same width. 2, if you are doing a book corner, you know, nice clean 90-degree book corners, you cut just above at the corner at an angle. So when you fold these two down, we get a nice clean line. If you have rounded corners, then you fold these corners down and then fold things down, and you can smooth out the corners. It took me a while. I was watching a lady out of Germany or Russia. I don't know. I think it's Russia, but definitely deeper in the European area. I really wish I could get some of her stuff. She could even be Dutch. Super cool. But I watch her, and she has all these beautiful tools for this, but I have to deal with what I've got, right? So I don't have anything perfect. I think I'm just going to, you know, try to give myself as much of a clean slate here as possible. I don't know whether to do that and hope for the best. So if you don't do it right, which is the problem, too much of an angle one way or another. See, that's the thing where the perfect, I'm going to eyeball it. The perfect tool will make sure that you always put it in the corner and you get the correct angle. And right now I'm pretty much eyeballing it, which I may do is cut one, whatever looks the best, and then maybe I will use that like we do with our tabs as my goal. So then you're going to cut along those lines. I'm trying to see which one looks or feels the best. And maybe that's going to be my, everything feels off. None of them feel like I have even angled, right? And that's what I worry about so badly. Because we don't, you know, if, of course, if it doesn't quite work, see, yeah, I cut too short. And this is what I always detest, is that I never get it right and I have a gap. Now, it does force a couple different things. Oh, see, that's why you need to have, I think I have to have it not so close. Well, that one corner is the bottom front. Of course it is. Okay, well, we can fix that. I've done it before where if it's too short, I have simply gone in there and glued it back down to cover it up. So that one is not such a big deal. Angle in general seems fine, but I think I just need to cut it out farther. Like, okay, great angle. But see, like that one is definitely different. I said it's up there, so it came down, so let's go this way. I'm like, let's make sure we do this right. Angle wasn't bad. Yeah, it's about the same. I just need to not cut it so close to the corner. We need to go outside that edge so I have a little bit more to play with. Okay, so when I do this, yeah, see, then when I do this, it actually overlaps. Okay, so I'm getting there. Little trial and error, right? We're getting there. But that one I can fix. That one I can maneuver. So too close to the corner and it does not cover like it's supposed to. Got it. Again, like I said, she has the perfect tools, and I wish I could, so wish I could order from her. I can't. Her website does not translate, which is a real bummer because I have no clue what I'm ordering, so I can't, like, make sure I have the right thing. But I would love her corner cutters so that you can. You just put it on the edge of your book or whatever you're working on, and you just slice across the line, and it's... you get that perfect cut, even cut all the way around, and you know, everything matches. So, yeah, it's sort of a bummer. I'm like, oh, we have to guess at it, but it's one of those things where one of these days I will figure out how to. Yeah, so everything else is really good. We just have this one corner, and to hide the fact that we have that line, the fact I will probably be putting corners on this, is I can just put one of these guys underneath here. Do we want a lot of blue? Something that maybe isn't so obvious. There we go, maybe. We can just glue this up here and fold it down, and it's not quite the wiser. I could go over, but no, yeah, I guess you have a line either way. So we are going to cover it with some linen. But yeah, I'd rather have it tuck inside. If we tuck it inside, we are not, we can sort of hide and cover up our, let's do this one here, our potential, paper corner so that it's all tucked in nice and neat. But I will probably put corners on this. I will probably put corners. You know what? As much as I love it, Fabri-Tac is definitely going to be quicker and give me a little bit more play. So what we'll do now, then I have a linen, like book cover paper page here that we will deco cut and give us that beautiful edge to cover up this trim. I'm in camera, right? It's okay. So here we are. We cut down a bag. No big deal. Oh, beautiful. One goes over the other. There we go. I would always put the glue on the. Oh, I wonder if my what's it called turned off. And how am I running on time? I'm probably cutting it really close because yeah. Oh yeah. A few more minutes here. I'm like, kids need to be up and ready. Go getting ready. Oh, second day of high school. Not kids, I should say kid. I'm like, only one. The other one doesn't start school yet. Her college is good another month. But we do have a meeting today with her admin representative, advocate, whatever you want to call it, and making sure that we understand her syllabus and that we understand, you know, if there's any questions about her school supplies, which pretty cut and dry. We've got her webcam, which we get to sort of test out today with that Zoom meeting to make sure it works well enough. And then we have to order her headphones with mic for some of these classes and just help her with gaming and so many other things. So, yeah, not a problem, right? But, okay, so see, nice and clean. Actually worked really well. A little bit in the corner, a little sharp in places, but, you know, you just sort of fluff it down, glue it if you need to. And see, there we go. Nice cover, right? Paper and a bag. Real easy. Now, I'm going to just fold it a little bit to start getting the paper to, and see, I have to move it back in again. So this is what worries me because we really did have to move it in. So every time I do this, I'm going to have to be careful. So I'm a little hesitant. That's my only thing right now is that doing the inside cover is going to, it's definitely going to bulge. now I've got a paper in here. I'm trying to see if we can keep, you know, maneuvering. Yeah, it shifts. There's not much I can do about it. Okay. So I may have to panel the inside, which means we're going to see brown. So I'm really, really glad actually, that we flip this around and we don't have any black. Because if I can see a little brown, not the big deal. So when you sew this in, you know, if we have to see a little brown, you know, we put this in here, you know, and the panel here just barely comes to the edge of the sewing edge, it's not going to be a big deal because we're just seeing brown paper. We are not seeing anything black with the word Amazon or Prime or anything like that on it. So very glad I caught that. Okay. These are cute little corners. They may be used later. Can't help it. So yeah, because of the fact that we're having such a tough time, and now I've, you know, hit this up a few times, I want to make sure we don't lose that placement. And I know that if we try to put paper all the way across, it's not going to work. So we're going to just panel it. We are going to go just to the edge of it, deco cut everything. It'll be beautiful. So let's see. Let's do some measurements. Let's not be guessing at this anymore. So it looks like 3 3/4 would probably be nice. Deckle it, you know, deckle the edge and then go in about 3 3/4 this way. And let's see, what do we want to do top to bottom? Giving myself a nice little, I mean, I want to see some of that blue, but I think at the same time, I want to make sure, you know, we're covering all of our edges. Deco 3 3/4. Yeah, I want to see a little bit of that blue. Not a lot, but we want to make sure that when we cut it, all the deckling, when you're doing all the decal edges, we are not, what is that? Oh, geez, 14 centimeters, because I can't tell here in my 6.5 mark. I guess it's 6.5. Let's just say 14 centimeters if I can. And I'll make a mark up here because I really don't know if it's going to work for me. Give or take, we know we want to be up here maybe at 14 centimeters. Because yeah, which is 6.5, just around 6.5 inches. Okay, yeah, I'm getting, my lines are getting really bad. All right, so we'll go 6.5 all the way across. So this gives me a nice strip, and then I can get my two sections done side by side with another strip and not worry about, you know, oh, that doesn't cut all the way across, does it? I think the decal's only 8 inches, right? We can only go so far. So I think I'm going to cut that first strip because I like having the longer strips. I hate having to do too much. Oops, let's not do that. Too much, what's the word? So I said 6.5, right? And we need a little extra to cut off on both ends. So I'm going to go 6 3/4. So that when you cut off your stuff, you actually have some extra room because, you know, you're taking off more edges. And so there's another strip, which, oh man, I have all these cute little mini strips everywhere, I swear. Okay, so what we're going to do is probably cut these guys first because then I have small pieces to work with. Because this only goes 8 or 9 inches, so it's sort of a bummer. So we're going to go here and we're going to get the edges off real quick. Gosh, that's such a thin piece, you know. All right, turn it around. I said 3 3/4. Line it up as straight as I can. I see the line, so that's not bad. Let's see how we're doing. We go here. Where's my fold? We'll eyeball it too to the fold where we go. Okay, get the top and bottom where I want it, knowing it is a little brown. So that's going to look nice as an ordeal. Let's trim this one end off first. And then we say about 6.5 inches or 14 centimeters. Yep, so going to 14 centimeters. Make sure it's all straight as we can get. Take that off. So yeah, we have these little pieces, but that's itty bitty pockets actually. Those are cute on the pages actually. So there's that. We're going to put it in here. How did we come up short? What the heck? 5.5 and 14 centimeters are not the same. Oh, jeez. Well, okay then. This is why we don't throw anything away. I'm going to do... there went that fun piece. Okay, so we're going to cover here, but we are going to fudge a pocket on the bottom to cover it. I don't know if it... Cut it off, but what direction? What, like, well, how was that connected? Was it this way? Let's try to see where the lines are. Yeah, okay. We are going to do then a faux pocket here. Cheese and crackers. Saw the 14, but it's not correct. That's sort of weird. And we're going to glue this down where it needs to be, and we're going to do here, and we're going to put some lace here, and we're going to make it a pocket. So it's still covered, but we are going to fudge it. Fudge it. No, we like pockets on the front. Okay, well, there's that. Okie dokie. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting. So, 6.5, which is almost the whole length. So that is not working for me. It is, that's interesting. Hold on, where's my... Yeah, I measured the potential of 6.5 to center it. And 6.5 is all the way up here. Okay, so we're just gonna eyeball it according to my 2 different measurements here, which is a real bummer that this is not big enough to even do this. Where's my half mark? Oh, I hate the fact I cannot see my marks anymore. I gotta start putting tape on things. This is not good. All right, so we want it up. It's really right there. So did I already decal edge that? So I really am not cutting much off, but I want to make sure we're sort of even because, yeah, I already did that in, I think. Yes. Talk about having to fudge what you're working on. Oh my gosh, who knew? I was like, oh, 14. Nope, those are not 14 centimeters. I don't know what those are. Oh, metric 14, not centimeters. Oh, gotta be careful when you're looking at numbers. Oh my gosh. Not that we can't fix it. There's always a way around it, right? And then this is, bottom is inches, which were fine, but this upper dumper is not centimeters apparently, because that did not match up. Oh, that's why I mentioned 14 at 6.5, but it's actually, it's not 14, it's the other way around. I have no, they're upside down, which just kills me. Yeah, I see what I did wrong. Oh my goodness. Right. Lesson learned there. Now I gotta decide if I'm going to ink this or not, or I'm just gonna plop it down because I'm getting oofta. Okay, so ta-da. Beautiful, a little bit of brown, not gonna see everything. Beautiful coverage. Now, pocket in the front is fine, pocket in the back doesn't really matter. I can put in the pocket in the back if I want a nice clean on the front and not have that issue. Though this is nice and pretty. So putting a lace pocket in the front is not a bad thing. So we will just glue this to the back and make do with it for sure. I will do a little bit of inking. We'll get this glued into place. And maybe sew it in. I don't know. I think we're running out of time. So I'm probably going to let you guys go. I am going to glue in my silliness. I got to go find a pretty white fluffy lace or beige. I think we need a beige lace actually. I need a cream antique lace. Cream or ivory, and we will put it over or under that pocket piece to extend the pocket, so that way, you know, we see all that. And that is not cut. See, I thought that was cut on that end, and it's not. Not at all. I don't want to go straight. So I got to barely tip it. I thought we had every end, and that is not where I thought. Ay, 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 ay. The nice thing is I can line everything up, and that pocket on the other side will give me some playroom to make sure this goes well. Well, we had our oopses, we had our pauses, we had our moments, but we have a fabric covered, like fabric slip cover over an Amazon bag. We have digital papers covering a reduced, you know, glued together lovely piece. So we have both of those going on. Very happy. And I'm not, so I'm not doing the, what's the word? Normally I would think maybe to do the glue stick on this, but you know what? We're just going to go for it. Make sure that I have room to maneuver and play and make it work for us, right? So 2 different ways to cover up your Amazon bag to create different size covers. You keep it to the, you keep to those 9.5 by 12 inch bags, envelope pockets that they get, envelope bags that they give you. We do get, you know, a nice size journal that we're going to have fun with by varying the pages and everything that goes with it. yeah, and when you stick this in here, I mean, I could darken it up if I wanted to beforehand, but you're barely going to see the brown. So I'll darken it up maybe just a little bit with some ink beforehand. Here, I'll get a brush in there, darken it up a little bit once it is in place, but I'm not going to stress over, you know, too much because it's just a light brown. It's a great color, actually, that pulls from some of the brown floral vintage foliage in here. So I'm stoked about that. And then let's ink this really quick. And I won't do the bottom. I'm just going to line this up with the back. And then we'll use lace in the paper. That piece we accidentally cut off. Thank goodness for scraps. And we will make a faux pocket in the front. And we will be good to go. So there we go. We'll glue that up there. Is that the right one? My only thing was making sure that I sort of wanted the, yeah, it must be this way. Okay, make sure we sort of had the coloring sort of match up. It's sort of like doing a faux pocket, hidden pocket by slitting the piece of paper at a certain spot and being able to just sort of tuck something in with a continuous page, giving you a continuous feel. But we will break that up with lace just because I want a little bit more stability in the pocket. And it just makes it look pretty, and then you realize it's a pocket and all that jazz. So did I just, yes, there we go. Okay. So we're going to line it up with that. So it's about the same. And like I said, the pocket down on the other side gives us our leeway. But I love it. We have this beautiful piece. Nice linen, dark turquoisey piece to help vary our coloring. I know it's very more green compared to the rest of the kit sometimes. It's so interesting. But I love it. It gives us that book feel. All right, so then all I have to do is get some lace and fuzz that up a little bit. We're going to make it a little taller so we can put a little something in there. Ta-da! Beautiful. Takes care of the problem. All's good. All is happy. All will work in the world. All right, ladies. Like I said, lace and washi tapes fix everything. When things go wrong, we can make do. All right. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for watching today and my silly experiments here as we continue on with new projects. Yep, that's our middle section. Oops, there goes everything. Is everything up right? So, yep. All right. So there we go. Look, a beautiful. I do love the fact that when it is open, it looks like it covers. When it's closed, it's a little tighter. It does stick out just a little bit. Gives you sort of that rough cut book. You know, when you get the page, you get discounted books that have that rough print work where they don't do a solid, very solid cut job. For whatever reason, the printers do bad cutting or whatever, and you get that rough book edge. This is what it reminds me of for sure. Oh my gosh, why not, right? So there we go. Get it all nice and tight in there. Sew it in really tight. And I think we will have a nice naked journal with just a few pockets and a few little things, just a few little pockets and places to tuck in things, but beautiful 60 pages to play with for a little book that you can take with you everywhere you go to keep a record of all your dreams and aspirations, and just beautiful floral blue stuff, right? So love you all very much. There's one. And then there's number 2. And we have its beautiful mushroom pages that are going to go in here with extra fun that we're going to go back and forth with. And we have 2 Amazon covers done. So love you all very much. Saturday will be a fun little project to do some ephemera. We're going to actually create some ephemera. Not for any of this, but I'm hoping a fun twist on maybe Gail's Scrappy Saturday. It's not scraps, but it is using up some very interesting materials that I think we forget about. So love you all very much. I hope you'll come back and we'll talk all real soon. Bye-bye.